When you imagine a role model, you might put them, you might fall into putting them on a pedestal. You might imagine that they've had a perfect life of win after win after win that's built them up to where they are now, that coveted position that you want so much, or maybe it's not a position, maybe it's a way of life, maybe it's an aesthetic, maybe they're just really stylish, laid back, cool. Maybe they're strong, maybe they're really talented, good at a sport. Could be anything that makes you want to be like them. I think there's a natural tension between yourself in that situation and that person that you put on a pedestal there. They have to, by virtue of the fact that they're up on that pedestal, be someone that's so different from you, so perfect. When I met the people that are my role models today, I realized that, well, they didn't have that perfect life. They didn't have that win after win. In fact, it probably was more like getting hit and getting back up over and over again. And that's in a business setting, but the same is applied to whatever setting. I mean, even in a social setting, people are not all popular just automatically. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. There's not, there's nothing intrinsically better about someone that's in that position. They've had to work to be there. Work's probably too formal a term, but they've had to put in a lot of mental energy into it. So, in a business setting, in a social setting, sports setting, whatever it is, creative setting, you find that those role models, when you do meet them, those people that you really wanted to be like, and you do interact with them, you find that, well, they're just like you. And the realization feels like it's moved the goalposts a bit. You feel like, oh, and now I'll extrapolate that into the world, and maybe I want to be the president or whatever. And he or she is just like me. They're probably just like me, but after a while, that way of thinking wears away, and you do, at least I do, fall into that trap of imagining that they're so different and, they're so much better in all these perfect ways. But over time, I've built this voice into my head that reminds me of the truth that we're all human, we've all got flaws, we've all got backgrounds, we've all made mistakes. And the people that you see in the positions that you want, or whatever it is that makes them a role model to you, those people are the same. So I've applied that to various other settings in my life. And for a long time when I was younger, I struggled socially. I mean, it felt like I didn't really fit in. It felt like I was a bit of a nerd, to be honest. And I would always look at people and I would always say, oh, they must be so cool. They must have such a different life, such a perfect life, to be enjoying themselves so much all the time and constantly be photographed among good company, good friends. Thought they were so different from me, and why can't I be like that? And that sometimes is still there because, I'm not always conscious. I can't always use that voice that says, well, that's not really the case, Hamish. Sometimes that underlying way of thinking comes back in. I'm not sure if you're like that or you're not, but it's just me. An example is if I go to a party and I see people having a lovely conversation, there's part of me that imagines, oh, why can't I be like that? Why can't I enjoy it like that? Which is such a silly way of looking at it, because it's obviously the antithesis of what the point is, which is just to enjoy it, just be yourself. Nevertheless, it's there, and I've felt that I needed to be able to deal with that. And so, now when I'm at the party and I'm having those enjoyable conversations, I might not feel like it in the moment. I might still in the back of my head go, oh, but they're enjoying that, and they're so different, and they're so perfect. But sometimes now I can just breathe and look around and see that I am the image, the thing that I've been chasing for. And that's what I want to get at. I think that's really the point. I've spent so much of my life searching for things I already have. It's a frivolous pursuit. I mean, I'm almost, well, not anymore. I have almost spent a life searching for things that I was already familiar with, but I just wanted them to be a bit different, a bit new. I wanted them to fit that box and look a certain way, but I already had them. Do I want to have that great career? Well, I might look on LinkedIn and see how he did it and how did she get there, and then that company looks brilliant. They must be so different. And then I look around at where I am, and I'm doing something that intellectually stimulates me. It's a challenge. I feel that impacts the society around me, that it contributes to something. And at times, it can make me so happy. It also can make me very unhappy at times. But the point is, again, scrolling through LinkedIn, I'm not able to engage my critical thinking. For a moment, I might slip into that thought of, oh, but they're so different. They must be so different, and they've got a different background, and they went to that prestigious school, and I'm nothing like that. But now I see it for what it is. And again, I've found myself there, searching for something I already have. So I've extrapolated that to the rest of my life as well. And does that abundant image of so many close friends around me seem so remote now? No, it doesn't. That healthy lifestyle that I've always wanted to have is that, do I need to be Goggins or, name an influencer? No, because I have that. So I think I'm in a process, and again, audit is too formal a term, of assessing the things that I already have in my life and whether or not I actually want them to change. I actually want them to be different, or in fact, do they already make me happy? You can apply that so directly to individual relationships or, individual pursuits. And I think it's been a bit of a breakthrough. I found that somehow it feels like you've spent your life battling against the waves, battling against the current. And suddenly, okay, maybe not battle so hard and maybe just go that way and let the stream take me. Suddenly I feel a lot more at peace, a lot happier. But of course there's still work to be done. There's still things I'd like to do and still things I'd like to change. I think that redirection has just taken me away from the things that weren't going to get me where I want to be. That prestigious thing or that mansion or having these umpteen material things. Were they actually going to make me happy? Probably not. And everyone says that. I mean, like when you actually go online and like look at the videos of people that have everything, you know, aside from some notable few, when they're asked, do these things make you happy? They will never point to those things. It will be like the relationships that they have, and you know, that good decision they made all those years ago not to let that person go or that thing go and to keep doing that thing. And that's where I am now. It's almost like you don't know you're in the good old days until the good old days. Maybe with this, you'll see that you're in them. Maybe you won't.